Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm actually on time today. Yes, yes, yes. I'm here before everybody's here. So that's a good thing. Welcome, everybody. I'm giving the people some time to get in here before we get started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome, welcome. Happy New Year's still, even though it's January 11th. It is the 11th day of the year. Thoughts, opinions, concerns? You said good evening, folks. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. You said nothing. Well, thank you, me and Daz Five. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Mark. Hey, Francis. Hey, everybody. Guys, make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please. And thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. See, Mark's number 14. Thank you, Mark. Hey, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody. Dee Dee's in the house. Priya, everybody's just waking up, y'all. I know I'm a little early. Ronan is here. Welcome. Shout out to my mod, Ronan James. Good morning. Shout out to everybody. You just got the notification. That's amazing. Hey, it's Caroline Mary. How are you? Welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what I heard too. So we're gonna get into it. Yesterday I talked a little bit about this case, but there was a lot of breaking news on this case, so I'm fairly new to it. There's still, from what I understand as far as the basics, I know the basics, right? But there's so much more to this case that we just don't know, and things are kind of developing. And it sounds like there might have been some other exes. There's some other stuff that's coming about as it pertains to this situation. So I definitely wanted to get into that. And I found some of the documents. I found the divorce documents. I found the arresting document. And then I think I have a pretty good timeline of events. So for those that are fairly new, I'm here with you. I'm just as new as you guys. Um, this story kind of went, it was covered locally and then it went, national, international for some, given that it's a horrific murder, right? December 30th, before New Year's, after Christmas. So it's one of those where it's kind of makes you scratch your head. Well, who would have, and why did they? And then all you get is like this little ooh footage. Ooh, my allergies are going crazy. This footage that they put out there on social media to figure out if anybody had any thoughts or ideas of who this could be. Welcome everybody. All right, so let's get started, and we're gonna dedicate a lot of time to this one. But let me put a little picture up just in case because I wanted to have a little side. So here we go. The airdrop is slow on my phone. I think it's telling me that I need a new phone, but I'm not ready to purchase a new phone yet. Like I can, but I'm just not like I'm like, why do I need to purchase a phone? These phones never really last, guys. They make it so they don't really last. That's the thing. It's like the hook. That's how they hook you. Okay. Alrighty then. So we have a couple. We have a couple by the name of Monique and Spencer Tepe, right? And Spencer was supposed to show up to his work. He didn't show up, so his office called for a welfare check, which, that's kind of what you do. And when they called for a welfare check, the officers went to the wrong address. Then they, went to the right address and made I would say, a pretty gruesome discovery, right? So let me give you guys a timeline of events. We have December 30th, okay? Columbus police were called into this wellness check, and this was around 10 in the morning. Now, there was friends and coworkers who reported that they had not heard from the couple. They were a little concerned. Also, they have two children, one 17 months old, and then the other one is a 4-year-old. Okay. And so there was a lot of concern, like what's going on? What, it's not like them not to answer their phones. And I'm going to try to put a little picture here so you guys can see. This didn't upload the way I wanted to upload. So you guys can put an image, a face to who we're talking about. Okay. So here it is. We'll share this one here. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. So this is the couple right here, Monique and Spencer Tepe. So according to the friends, they were very concerned, and officers later found Spencer and Monique dead inside their residence. Okay. Several coworkers of Spencer, he was a dentist who practiced, in a clinic in Athens. They called 911, and after he failed to show up for work and could not be reached, callers told dispatchers that the lack of contact was out of character, raised, and that just the simple fact that it was out of character that raised concerns, right? And they felt like something might have happened to the family. Now, according to the 911 call released by authorities, coworkers reported being unable to reach either Spencer or Monique and said that the situation was becoming, concerning, of course. Police initially checked the home, but did not see anything suspicious. Okay. An additional 911 call were made when coworkers and friends gathered around the house and they could hear the children inside, but they couldn't get anybody to, like, the kids. You got a 17-month-old and a 4-year-old. Like, they're not gonna open the door or know what to do or anything, right? So a friend later gained entry to the home and found Spencer's body, and police said both Spencer and Monique had been shot. Investigators said that no weapon was found at the scene and there was no signs of a forced entry. Okay. So the intruder knew where to go, where to get in, and how to get in and everything. And you said in the chat, and I'm looking over here in the chat, Mama Bear said that the dispatcher was so rude to the callers. Okay, we could listen to that too for sure. Get a sense of what that was. You said living every day. Somebody must have been stalking them. And we'll get into that here, okay? So investigators said that they didn't find any weapons, but according to Columbus police report, the detectives found a spent 9mm shell casing at the scene. Now here comes January 2nd, after the New Year's, and Columbus police began seeking the public's help. They asked anyone that who might have videos, photos, or any kind of surveillance of a specific time or whatever, to just please submit the evidence. They have like a specialized QR code for this evidence, right? Now the area in question, it ranged from, I think it's called, is it Summit? Because I was looking at the streets and whatnot. Is it Summit Street to North Grant Avenue, just to kind of get an idea. And so the initial time frame police were interested when this investigation was, happening, was between the hours of midnight to 9 a.m. December 30th, right? They felt like they had been shot around that time frame initially. So later that day, Spencer and Monique, the families released a statement, and I'm going to read you the full statement, okay? And it says, "Our family is devastated by the tragic, senseless loss of Spencer and Monique. They were extraordinary people whose lives were filled with love and joy and deep connection to others. Spencer was a devoted and proud father, and a loving partner and a friend to everyone he met. He was intelligent, warm, and endlessly welcoming. A graduate of the Ohio State University and a member of the American Dental Association, Spencer was fluent in Spanish and deeply committing to serving others. He gave back through Big Brother, Big Sister, a huge Buckeyes fan and Bengals fan, and lived life with energy, laughter, and generosity. Monique was a loving, patient, and joyful mother whose warmth defined her. With a background in childhood education, she brought care and intention into everything that she did. She was an excellent baker, a thoughtful planner, and someone who found joy in bringing people together. Her kindness made people feel instantly at home. Together, Spencer and Monique shared a beautiful, strong, and deeply happy relationship. They loved to travel, to laugh, and to build a life rooted in love. They were proud parents of two beautiful children and their beloved golden doodle, and they created a home filled with warmth, happiness, and connection. We are heartbroken beyond words. While no outcome can ever undo this loss, our family is committed to seeing this tragedy full and fairly brought to justice, and to honoring Spencer and Monique by protecting the future of the children they love so deeply. So this intruder left two children without parents. Okay. I completely sad situation now. Right? And then not only that, their ages. Like I'm happy that the children were not harmed, but overall, like it's just a sad situation. That there's to do this in general. He said that might be controversial, but I feel sorry for the cop who did WC on the wrong. Oh, you did the wellness check on the wrong house. I'm not surprised. I mean, wellness checks at the something must have happened. And honestly, um, it sounds like they might have been gone for a long time. So I think that they were likely beyond rescuing at this point. Thank God for the friends that, you know, immediately insisted that this wasn't like them, for them not to answer, who went to the property and heard the children. Thank God that something happened there, honestly. But, I don't know. I guess I don't know, you know, stuff like that happens all the time. I mean, we've seen cases in such ways that are just so sad. You said it's all sad, right? He checked the house blocked away. I wonder what happened that made him get confused. I do wonder. Like, was there like an address? Like, did the address look the same? Or he just went to the wrong house? Um, yeah, and then the dog was with the children. That is correct. That is correct, right? So let's keep going. So then January 5th, police released a video of a person of interest in the case. And they said that the individual was walking in an alley near Spencer and Monique's, keep calling her Monica, but it's Monique's home between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. So they were able to get some footage, which went viral and people were looking at it. It narrowed down, having this time frame, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., it narrowed down a specific timeline. The footage does not clearly show the person's face, but investigators hoped someone could recognize their clothing, mannerisms, or way the person walks. Now, a couple things that stood out to me from the video, right? The intruder had to know how to enter the property. The intruder had to at least have known that that they were going to be home. He had to have been watching, right? He had to have known what was going on, what time, like, a very specific time. Did all of this happen while they were asleep? Because I mean, those are typically the times and the hours that people are asleep, right? Um, Probably didn't see any of this happening or coming or anything, and then it just happened. Maybe they were that's how they were killed. So yeah, very, very specific time and way of getting into the property without making it seem like someone broke in. The footage does not, you can't see the face of the person, right? So then January 8th, Columbus Division of Police Chief Elaine Bryant spoke about the investigation for the first time. And Bryant shared the latest details in the investigation, including what happened in the initial welfare check of the Tepes. So we're going to get into that video because I think that, again, it kind of gives us a little bit of a timeline. And, since we're working kind of slow for those that don't, might have not followed the case right away, but are kind of curious, I'm here for that because I didn't follow the case right away. Hold up. Let's pull up a link. And shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. James, thank you so much for the gifted memberships. While I take a little detour here. And this is the police chief. It wasn't a very lengthy press conference or anything. I feel like pretty good, watching a couple minutes of this and whatnot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, if you've been gifted, put some hearts in the chat. Thank you, James. Appreciate you. And do me a favor, hit that like button, please, and thank you. All right, let me put this a little bit bigger. Here we go. So this is the police chief. This was the statement. And again, this statement was given January, excuse me, January 8th. Had to clear my throat.
Homicide numbers down. You guys ended the year with probably what's the most high profile case of the year. What is the latest in the double murder of the Tepes?
Yep. So obviously, this is a national news case. I just want to preface that by saying that we think that every single case that we have is high profile. We care about every single case that we have, which is why we don't just stop when the year ends, we don't stop investigating it, which is why we have 30 additional cases from previous years that are solved. Our detectives work diligently to close every single case to bring justice to every single family, which is why we have 100 homicides solved last year. In this case in particular, what we do know is that obviously we received a call for a well-being check related to the two victims involved in this case. There was an officer that was dispatched to go to that well-being check. Unfortunately, he did respond to the wrong location initially. He went to the wrong location, and in him believing that he was at the right location, he did everything that he was supposed to do. Knocked on the doors, checked the backyard, did all those things, but it was not the right location. Approximately about maybe 40 minutes later, we had received another call because the coworkers of one of the victims stated that they had not reported to work and they were really concerned. So they went to the house, and that's when subsequently the bodies were found of the two victims as it relates to this case. We are working very diligently to try to solve this case. We know that people are concerned, and we know that people have a lot of questions. What we're asking for is patience as it relates to this investigation. We want to make sure that we don't compromise the integrity of this investigation. So when we finally identify a suspect and it goes to trial or it goes to, we want to make sure that there's nothing that could cause this case to be dismissed or cause this case to be kicked. So we're looking at every single tip or every single information that comes in. We leave no stone unturned. We're investigating it, but there's only so much that we can share at this point. We released a video of the person of interest that we're looking for, the person that we know that was in the area at that time. We're asking the community, we're asking the public, if you have any information, if you think you know anything about this person, please contact us. Please call us. You can email us. You can call us. You can call Crime Stoppers. Even if you don't think it's something that's relevant in that moment, it may have been something you saw last week. It may have been something that you saw the day before. It could be relevant to this case. Please reach out. Please let us know. So we are asking for tips. We have received numerous tips as it relates to this case, but we do not have at this moment a suspect that we have identified.
Do you believe that person who was in the video is the suspect or just someone who was there at the time when the murders happened?
So this is interesting, right? Again, this is January 8th, just to give you guys a perspective of the timeline. What changed from the time, like somebody said in the chat that it's very possible that he might have broken into the property through a basement window, something to that effect. Like, and if that's the case, you would think that they had to have, this person had to have known where in what part of the house to break into, right? To know exactly where to, like, this wasn't a, spare of the moment, heat of the passion type of, or anything like they literally planned where to break into and where to go. The crazy part, this part right here probably reminds me a lot of the JonBenet Ramsey case, right? Where people have gone back about where this intruder, how did they break in? Where do they go? They went through a basement window, like that type of situation. Had to be somebody who had studied the house, the property, the people, the mannerisms, the everydays, the normalcy of a situation, and somebody who was really upset, right?
Evidence is going to give us that information as we continue to dig, as we continue to gather as much as we can. Right now, we know that they were there. So right now, what we want is for people to be able to give us more information so that we can then collect that evidence and make a determination on whether that's the case.
Now, there's a crime camera just across the street from the Tepe's residence. Did that crime camera catch anything that's been useful to the department?
We're still reviewing a lot of video. We're still looking at a lot of evidence. Again, the information that we're releasing, we want to be as transparent as possible and release that. But there are some things we're just not going to be able to share at this time related to the investigation. But what I can tell you is that we are looking at so much video information and so much content that we're still combing through. So we don't have all the answers. And so our investigators are diligently working. They're still gathering information. And as soon as we're able to, we're going to provide another update.
Is there a threat to the community at this time, though? Community at large?
I'll add that any homicide investigation is a delicate balance between community safety and investigative integrity. When there's a community safety issue, that's information that we got get out as soon as possible. You know, our homicide teams have been canvassing the area every single day since this tragedy occurred, and they're making a lot of relationships in the Wyland Park area. The community members have stepped up and they have provided a lot of information. For every second of video, that's every second of video that a detective has to watch. And so when we have tens of thousands of hours of video, detectives watch every bit of that. And that's obviously not an instantaneous lead. Additionally, the chief mentioned a number of tips that have come in since we released that video. And our detectives, we have a great triage system that the tips are sent to detectives. Detectives follow up on all of those tips. Some of them pan out to some additional information and follow up. Some of them are just not good tips, but we follow up on every one. Again, that speaks to the partnership with the community. That speaks to the work. So what I'm describing, the canvassing, the review of video, that happens on every single homicide that our detectives investigate. If there's anything good out of this, it's that people are paying attention to the professionalism of our detectives and the significant work that they do.
Do you know how many tips that you guys have gotten?
Several tips, a lot of tips.
Wow.
In a lot of different ways. So we've gotten them emailed, social media, telephone calls, texts, in person. We've gotten a lot of tips.
In regard to the protest tonight, how do you plan to handle that as the protest is 6 p.m.?
We're going to do it the same way that we handle every protest. We have our dialogue team that has been phenomenal in being able to facilitate and work with these groups. We want to make sure that people are able to protest in a peaceful manner and that their First Amendment rights are not violated. So we're going to continue to work in collaboration with them, continue to have that dialogue. And
So I'm going to stop it right here, right? Okay, because you know, they're getting into other stuff. But then you have January 9th, where the obituary and the funeral arrangements were made for Spencer and Monique. And, you know, this is just a sad situation, right? Right after the holidays that all of this has to happen. And then you have these two children with no parents anymore, right? Unfortunate. Now, I have the state of Ohio warrant, okay? But I have to be very careful because it literally gives Michael David McKee, who is Monique Tepe's ex. So she was married to this guy 5 years ago. And I also have the divorce papers as well, all right? Now, I have to cover the address. That's what I have to do because I do not want to get in trouble. But let me go ahead and share this with you guys, okay? Now, he is being held with murder, okay? 2 action codes, all right? And it's the warrant issued administrative. It was issued yesterday, so he was taken into custody yesterday, and we have a mugshot. We have everything, okay? So between the warrant issued, supporting affidavit for determination of probable cause filed, which I have not seen this be public yet. I'm sure everybody here is waiting for this affidavit to be, the probable cause to be made public. I think we all want that. Image of complaint, I'm sure we want that too. And then the fingerprints, okay? So it's just a 1 and 2 page, but none of this is public I haven't seen anybody hold it publicly quite yet. If you guys do see it, let me know. Now, some of you guys like Addie V, let me shout out Addie V, who said, McKee's alibi, which is Michael McKee, Monique's ex-husband, seems solid. And then they found evidence showing that it was false. They're pretty sure it was a license plate reader. Watch Angela Levy's show, the Law and Crime, right? With the lawyer from Ohio last night. I'll have to check it out. We'll have to check it out. Okay. Definitely no signs of forced entry. So that's why it makes you wonder, well, was it through another window? Now, somebody said in the chat that they had like a smart home, which, what is that? Clearly, I don't have one. Let me know, what is that? Who was it that said that there was a it was like a smart home? So does that mean that they have different level of security? That they would have been alerted, they would have had to have woken up to anybody trying to break into the property? You said he had to have known the keypad number to get in, or a window. That's what I'm saying, Nancy. Like, he had to have known, and he had to have been stalking them, Aduko, for a while, right? Sitting in wait and stalking for a while. Now let me go down a little bit. Um, yeah, I mean, the two children are there. Here it is. It was Mandy who said it. The home is a smart home, so they have a record of everything that was going inside. The home is a smart home. Put a one in the chat if you guys have a smart home. I don't know what that is. Time of incident says 3:52 a.m. right there. Right on the thing, right? But here's the deal: is what is a smart home as opposed to a regular home? Is it an alarm system? Is it an alert system? You said, I believe the third page is the probable cause affidavit. The copy is hard to read though. Okay. Let's see. I haven't seen it. I only have 2 pages of this thing, but hold up. Let me see. We could definitely look it up. Let's look it up and see if we can find it. Michael McKee, probable cause affidavit. Oh, people have been searching. I didn't think it was released yet, but I could be wrong. You know who might have it? Because she always has everything, is Abby Blobby. Shout out to Abby Blobby. Oh, she has it. Okay. Here it is. So we have it. Thank you, Abby Blobby. I had not seen this. I only saw the warrant. That's all I had seen. Thank you, First Liberties podcast. Okay, so let's get into this. Now we got more paperwork to review. Okay. You said that a smart home is a luxury apartments that are smart home. A lot of luxury apartments are smart homes. Hence, they advertise on no key use of pad or app or something else. So Davin, is it Davin Shaw? Davin, so what happens if somebody has your code? Then they can just break in, right? Do you put your, hey, Miss Toby, I haven't seen you in a while. Shout out to you and Happy New Year's. Do you put in your thumb? Is it like one of those things where it's like your thumb and then you get into the property? So it's a lot of auto devices stored locally in a cloud. That's what makes a smart home. So smart home uses internet connected devices. So everything's controlled through remotely controlled. And it's supposed to be more efficient. With readily available lock picking tools, with a little practice, most locks are pickable with no sign of entry. Don't ask me how I know. Mark's like, I'm not telling y'all my crimes. Shout out to Mark. Mark's like, I'm not talking too much in this chat. Keyless cameras. Okay. I'm not familiar with the smart home, clearly. You said it's wired with video, motion, and sensory connection. Okay, cool. I'm not familiar. I have as far as home goes, we got our camera. We got cameras, more than one, right? We had to recently get some other ones. And then we have a keypad thing. But even that doesn't necessarily make any of us feel safe. The keypad thing, because anybody can. Those things are so easy to break into, y'all. Like, I don't know. Anything can, just like Mark said, you could just probably pick it too, and then it beep, and then you're in. You said, Rabbit, I bet the front French doors were never locked, and that's how the ex got in and the friend that found them. But here's the deal, though. They were able to break into the friends that found them. They were able to break into the place, right? But there was no signs of forced entry. Is it possible that these signs of forced entry was not necessarily immediate? You know, like somebody said, it could have been through a basement window or something. Anything is possible. You said if you have a smart Nest thermostat, the government can control it remote. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't trust the smart stuff or the anything, because, you know, there was I've had cameras. I've had cameras in and out. And there was this one time where somebody can actually access the camera. Like, you know, stuff gets hacked and people start watching. I don't like that. I don't trust it. So that's why I'm like, you got to be, you know, I like the basics, but I also don't. I'm in between. You know those California doors, the metal ones. If y'all lived in this, if you know, you know. The one they're so ugly. These California metal screen doors are so freaking ugly, but they're so safe. Like you could, they can't see from the outside, but you could see from, out there. Just get you one of them metal ugly ass doors, and then you could leave it open and stuff like that. But people won't go in because it auto locks. Anyways, let me stop. They're just so ugly, but they work so well for safety and whatnot. You just got to make it aesthetically cute because sometimes that throws off the whole vibe of the neighborhood and whatnot. Anyways, yeah, Sylvia knows exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, Sylvia. You have one of those too. Y'all know what I'm talking about. See, I had to detour. Um, Metal doors, California. There's a specific kind. Here it is. Yeah. Let me detour for like 5 seconds and then we're gonna get back to the program. Hold up. This is what I'm talking about. No, I don't want you to locate me. Here it is. These kind. These are like the safest, man. They're ugly as hell, but they're very safe. Old school. They lock. They like you can't open it from the outside. I grew up with one of these, and then we recently purchased one too because it's the best. They won't be able to get in. Okay. Anyways, you have one of those too. Shout out to y'all. You're like, I don't make it aesthetically cute. Yeah, yeah. They're ugly, but they're safe. Okay, let's go back. Y'all know I had to detour a little bit. Okay, blame it on my ADHD. Ooh, now hold up. Let me do something real quick. Let me get some. I gotta get some water. One sec. Had to get some water. Hold up. You said not stacking, but you need milk. That's right. That's right. Okay, hold up. Okay, sorry. I had to take had a little headache, so I had to take some Advil. Okay. Not stacking, but you need milk. Thank you, Sylvia, for the 199. All right, let's get it together. So let's get into this affidavit so we can read it. So this is the probable cause. Is this it? Yes, it is. Just want to make sure that I'm reading what's correctly there. Let me make myself smaller. Here it is. Okay. So this is in the Franklin County Municipal Court, City of Columbus, State of Ohio versus Michael David McKee, person name and complaint. So the incident report number and the penal code for murder, and it's written twice, so he's aware that it's two people. Okay. So an affidavit in support, Russ Weiner, and that's the officer, hereby swear an affidavit. The following cause is believe I have personal knowledge of the facts listed in the statement or facts as I was involved in the underlying investigation and or arrest. And it gives a little summary, and it says on December 30th, 2025, at about 9:57 a.m., Columbus Police patrol officers were dispatched to the addresses there to check on the well-being of Dr. Spencer Tepe, who had not shown up to work. Officers arrived and found Dr. Tepe and his wife Monique Tepe deceased inside, suffering from gunshot wounds. Now, in that footage where that man or that person that's walking, this says gunshot wounds, okay? Listen, gunshot wounds, I think, is a very specific type of they said it was 9mm, right? Hold up. I don't know my weapons very well, but they said 9mm casing, but this thing says, make sure. I don't know it's very specific. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. You said I worked in a security company and most people don't even change their codes from 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it small? I thought it was small for a gunshot. But the affidavit says gunshot. Anyways, so it says gunshot wounds. 2 minor children were found inside the home unharmed. So the Columbus fire medics responded and pronounced the victims deceased at about 10:11 a.m. Now, Columbus Police Homicide Units, Team 2, was advised, responded, and initiated an investigation. During the subsequent investigation, detectives were able to identify a suspect through neighborhood video surveillance. This suspect was tracked to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicides and left shortly after the homicide. Detectives were able to identify the vehicle further and it is very hard to read. It says and link it to Michael McKee. So the person that said in the chat license reader, there you go. Detectives were able, based on surveillance, they were able to identify this vehicle further and link it to Michael McKee. Okay. So in the surveillance, they saw this man, this figure or whatever, walking, between the hours of 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Gets in this vehicle. They were able to catch they got like a license plate reader, and then when they're reading the license plates, they find that it's Monique's ex-husband. Okay, it further goes. This suspect was tracked to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicide and left shortly after the homicide. Detectives were able to identify this vehicle further and link it to Michael. Detectives located the vehicle in Rockford, Illinois, and found evidence of McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicides. So they were able to place him at this basically scene, okay? So here we have the complaint. The complainant, being duly sworn, states the above named defendant. Okay, the date is there. Murder. There you have the clerk sign it, deputy clerk, and that is the arrest warrant checked out. Okay, another one, and that is him. That's the mugshot. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad the children were okay, but I mean, you said it's an average, so it's a 9mm casing. I think it said 2 9mm casings, but the affidavit reads that there were gunshot wounds. I'm thinking, I don't think that's the size, right? Like 9mm casings, gunshot wounds. Those are two different things. Does anybody find that odd, or maybe there was a misreport in the affidavit? Maybe they meant to say that. Well, they said gunshot wounds, but I'm thinking like a gunshot, like a shotgun type of, like they're already telling us what it is. I don't know. You said, why do they always look like something from a horror movie? You talk about the mugshot? Yeah. You said this really supports the need for these license plate readers. They prove to be so helpful in finding suspects. Yeah. And if you're not doing anything wrong, who cares if your plate is being read? Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I'm in support. Let me tell you, if you're not driving you're not driving dirty, you're not doing, the most out there or anything like that. I mean, I'm in support of if it helps solve a crime and stuff like that. Now what happened, especially because it's not like he could have been driving, right? He could have been whatever, but it's a simple fact that he put himself at the scene of the crime, right? He put himself there based on all of this. He really wanted to get away with this, right? So that is, hold up. Let me see if I can. Abby Blabby. Shout out to Abby Blabby, y'all. Make sure you guys go follow her. Yeah, so this was 14 hours ago. So she was able to find the whole complaint. Oh my goodness. Happy birthday. I didn't know it was Shanann's Watt's birthday. Happy heavenly birthday to her. That's one case that I find very disturbing overall. And it further says, okay, by the way, he's a doctor. Criminal complaint and affidavit for probable cause. Dr. Michael McKee is the ex-husband of Monique Tepe. They were wed in 2015 and divorced in 2017. He was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder for fatally shooting Monique and her husband of almost 5 years, Dr. Spencer Tepe. Now, yesterday when I heard that this guy was also a doctor, I had a little bit of a reaction. I was like, what? So he's a doctor who shot another doctor and his ex. McKee got remarried after Monique, but the marriage didn't last long. He filed for divorce in 2022. That was like 2 years ago. And then it further says, I found out it was a different man with the same last name and had the marriage. And okay, so Abby Bible is letting us know that that's wrong information, that he wasn't remarried. Okay. Sources state that he never got over Monique and had attempted to cause numerous disruptions in her life over the years. The time of the offense on the complaints is listed at 3:52 a.m. The person in the chat who said it, shout out to you. It's right there, which we read the complaint as well. It hasn't been released how he obtained entrance into the home, but people have speculated that he might have broken into, like, the basement or something like that. He held anger. I mean, he did, but it sounds like they both filed for divorce. Like, when you look at the divorce papers, shout out to Plunder, because she was the first to pull out these divorce papers, right? They filed pro per, right? So it wasn't like she had to drag him. They had to drag each other to court. They decided, I mean, it sounded like it was initially amicable, and I'm gonna try to, you just like any other divorce paper, you're splitting assets. They had no children between each other. What exactly happened? I mean, what happened? He never got over her. Maybe he just felt like he didn't want to see her happy or anything like that. There's no children between this marriage. Differences have arisen between the parties, and they're now living separate and apart from each other. Okay. I mean, people fall out of love all the time, right? Consideration, husband and wife acknowledge that each has received sufficient consideration of the foregoing promises and mutual promises and undertaking. So, like, they kind of agree to it. Each party, they weren't even living together. Each party shall have a right to privacy and individual division of properties. A husband shall be awarded all rights and title and equity and interest, including real property. More commonly, there's an address there where they used to live. Husband represents that the mortgage debt is held solely in his name. Okay, they didn't even fight that. Again, they filed themselves. Husband shall retain. He even kept the Jeep. He drove a 2004 Jeep. Okay, so what happened? And then she also kept all the funds in the checking, savings, CD accounts, and husband shall retain free and clear of any claims of the wife. The parties represent that they do not have any joint accounts. They didn't even, which, by the way, is always smart. Like, it's always smart to have separate accounts. Just saying, okay? Have your separate accounts. I'm telling you, it's always good. I mean, I've been married for a long time, and with the same, my husband and I have been together for many years. And before we, officially got married, we've always had separate accounts. It works better that way. You said, sounds like they had a prenup. Well, and I was trying to figure out, I didn't see anything that they had, at least not to my knowledge, that it was just the divorce papers. But wife shall pay, look at this. Wife shall pay and hold husband harmless of any following debts in her name. So she had to pay the Chase credit card, the Citi credit card, the student loans, and any debt listed in her name. Either party shall incur additional debt, any joint accounts. I mean, like I said, they filed themselves. They save money by not using an attorney. It says right here, hold up. The parties shall each pay their own attorney fees. Wives shall pay the filing fee. So she filed, and a private judge fee for the dissolution and divorce, and said funds shall be paid on or before the final hearing. I mean, they kind of save money on that one. Then there's a taxes, but there wasn't anything, to me, nothing stood out from this divorce. If anything, it just sounded like they just grew apart. And this was affected, 2017, and they both signed it. So what happened? What happened exactly? Now, what was so interesting about this situation too, hold up, let me see. Standard mutual temporary restraining order. Look at this. So in most divorces, there's kind of like a standard thing that gets placed. It doesn't always mean that it's gonna that there's conflict or anything like that, but it's just kind of to set the boundaries between two parties. Let's see. Anything that stands out? No. Nope, nope. Agreed entry to order referral. Nothing here. Okay, hold up. So everything is checked out. Everything was fine. So what happened exactly? Now, I went to a Reddit and I got kind of curious because, you know, I don't know if this is true or not. Right? Please note that. Take that with a grain of salt because it's Reddit. You know, people say anything, right? I think it's important to note that. But somebody on Reddit said something that kind of like made me raise my eyebrows a little bit more. Let me see if I can find the comment. Somebody in there said that they they dated him, Michael, and that there was a past restraining order or something to that effect. Now, like I said, I don't want to make it up or anything like that, but I was like, huh? Look at this. I want to make sure I could be misreading this. So let me bring this to your guys' attention, okay? So in this Reddit thread, this is his you can find, Violink is all public information, right? This is his details, his mugshot and everything when he was arrested. He's going to be in court on the 12th. Let's see. Okay. He'll be in court this week? This coming week? Yeah. Why am I looking all over the place? The calendar's right here. And somebody said in here, this is my ex, sadly. I left him in 2019, had a restraining order against him. Granted, we share kids, but even after all this, me getting married to someone else, I have had to have my lawyer threaten another restraining order this year because my ex was stalking me by trying to follow me to our new place. Now, I don't know if she's making a comparison, like saying like I had an ex like this or this is my ex. So when I read that, I was like, are you making a comparison to your ex or is this like your ex? And I think it's a comparison because I literally was like, could this be, maybe I'm misreading it? I don't know. And then she further says these types of situations are pretty dangerous and they wait as long as they can. My ex stalked and my ex before getting at me directly. I heard it directly from her. My ex stalked and the ex before me too. I heard it directly from her. So I think she's just making a comparison that, this is just an ex. Yeah, that's not about him. That's what I figured too. Because I was like, is it a comparison? Anyways, so it was brought to my attention. I was like, I don't know but I can understand where people might have misread it. You said, I heard he didn't have a lot of girlfriends and was awkward. Maybe he felt like he couldn't really like move on with his life. When people divorce doesn't mean one or both are actually happy that it's been over. And some people have always been unstable and anything can be a trigger. Anything can be a trigger, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. You said Ashley Banfield said they lived together for 7 months and they remain married, but lived separately for 14 months and they filed for divorce. I have the video queued up as well and we can look into that. But what was the trigger, right? What was the trigger? What happened exactly? What made the situation snap exactly? It's a lot of, unanswered questions. Because look at the time frame. And I think even, for somebody who she's remarried, she moved on, she has children, right? She's not thinking about other people or anything like that. She's just moving on with their life. She probably let her guard down, not necessarily thinking that this guy could come back and hurt her. You know what I mean? You said the mugshot says everything. You said they both had restraining orders on each other. Oh, really? You said, I think she was happy. Just the fact that she was happy made him upset, potentially. You said she also brought She also bought her own wedding rings. Ah, okay. Well, before I want to talk about Ashley Banfield in this coverage, before we go there, I need to shout out some people. Navy Mama Deb, member for 3 months. Thank you, love. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting my channel. Dee Dee gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, Dee Dee. I put your comment up, then I put it down because I got distracted. Thank you, love. If you guys have been gifted, because we literally have 20 gifted memberships between our members. Thank you guys. And Ronan gifted as well. Thank you, Ronan and Dee Dee and James. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for gifting. Put some hearts in the chat if you've been gifted. Miss Toby says, I think seeing her happy. Oh, I'm glad you got a membership, Miss Toby. When they should when they had their wedding pictures and the videos, when they shared it, showing them happy together might have triggered him. But Miss Toby, that was 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like 5 years ago. And he kind of stayed mad. I don't get it. And it's,
Hey everyone, I'm at.
let's be very real. I mean, like the mugshot, the guy looks a little rough, but he's not a bad looking guy. I mean, yeah, I would say he looks like he's looking a little rough in this mugshot. You know, he's looking like he don't look too well in this mugshot, but he's not a bad looking guy. I would probably, most stalkers aren't, right? Like most, you said a melon. Come on now, not a melon head, right? Most stalkers aren't. You know, you don't, the stalking situation is all behavioral, right? You don't expect somebody to do something like this to you. He went to a Catholic high school. I think it's what you said, Rabbit. I think he had a control issue and he resented the fact that he had attained what he thought and would secure a wife and children. So UA Crimson. Here's my question to you. You said he went to a Catholic high school. Was he Catholic or he just went to a Catholic high school? There's this thing, and I've seen it before. We've seen it in true crime stories, believe it or not, right? In the Catholic Church, not that you can't get a divorce, but typically they don't really believe in divorce, right? Till death do you part. I married in the Catholic Church, okay? I was raised Catholic. I have a lineage of Catholic. Doesn't mean that I always agree with the Catholic Church. I don't. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to be, at church, and 9 times out of 10, I'm not. I'm probably the most disobedient person, but I'm more of the I like the traditional stuff more so than anything. So there's this thing, right, where you have to do like all kinds of things before you get married. So I do wonder, if it was kind of like, well, she remarried. Did they get married initially at the Catholic Church? And then he's like, I don't want to let her go and I'm going to watch her. And, he just snapped one day, said, that's it. I'm ending her life. That type of situation. What happened exactly? You said he looked psychotic to you and squarehead. He may have had a breakup and something that made him feel like he'd never be happy. And so he took it out on her and Spencer. That's what he did. That's crazy. That's insane. That's how I see it. He said, I know that he went to Catholic school in, is it Zanesville? But I don't know if he was Catholic. His family was traditional. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. For sure. You said Good Fear is a book that speaks about people who can hold grudges for a lifetime. You said Good Fear is a book about people, and that's never healthy. It's never healthy when people don't recuperate from grudges that they hold. Never healthy, right? Let's get into this. We'll see how much time we have to watch because I might get a sitter call and we will have to resume and review some of the stuff that they have. Who wanted Spencer and Monique dead? I did see a little bit of this and I kind of want to go right around, they do the wellness check call and everything. And then let's get over here. Hold up.
That's old too. That's been there for a long time. So I'll be curious to find out what street did they actually respond to. And I also am curious to find out what instruction did the cop get from dispatch? Did the cop get the address 1411 North 4th and screw up so royally? Or
why? Okay. Like the whole wellness check, they're looking into that and everything, right? And somebody said in the chat, well, they got the address wrong. I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like I get that people, and I would be upset too, right? To have those children be there and everything. I do wonder if it was like an accident wrong address or what. And I'm sure people can you can FOIA these kinds of reports, right, for the wellness check.
The cop get a bogus instruction from dispatch. That part of the tapes I haven't heard yet, and I'm willing to suspend disbelief until I get more clarity. So that's where we stand. And all I am thinking about is what the cops have already, because they have to get to a bar where they can make the arrest, because the clock starts ticking when you make an arrest. You got to have enough. You got to have enough.
I mean, like I said, he's not a bad looking guy when he's not, looking like a psycho in that mugshot. Sarah Adams says, weirdest fact ever. According to research, of those who are doctors, the most likely to murder are vascular surgeons. And he was a doctor? This is crazy part. I'm like, oh my God, like what? Because they have the most, they're more likely to have a God complex. Now, according to research, if you doctors are watching my show, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I didn't say it. Thank you, Sarah, for this super chat. Very generous super chat. Thank you. Thank you. You said he was a vascular surgeon. All these and then it's like another doctor we've seen this, like, I feel like this has happened before, and I'm pretty sure it has, where many years ago there was a case where another doctor took another doctor out. He hired a hitman. This was one that I think was like, back in the 90s, heavily covered and everything, and whatnot. So yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Hold on now. Let me play this.
Because you constitutionally have a right to a speedy trial in America. And if a defendant says, I want that speedy trial, you better be prepared, coppers. Then you better be prepared, right? So you always have to have enough to make the arrest. Not everything for a prosecution, but you have to have enough. And then once the arrest is effectuated, then you go even deeper and you just nail the case down as much as you can before trial. So my mind is now going to, what do they have? What they find in his car when they grabbed it in Illinois, in Rockford, Illinois. What they find in his apartment. What did they get off his electronics? His phone, his laptop, Google searches, geolocating. Did he case their house? Kohberger cased 1122 King Road over and over and over for months before the murders.
I wonder, like, what does that timeline look like? You would have to think why whoever did it, right, knew exactly what they were doing and what they were aiming for. That's what they were doing. That's what they were doing.
Did Dr. McKee case that house? Did he drive by as a jilted lover might? Did he do those things? Was he parked there at 3 a.m. staring into the windows? But what was he doing up to the murders? Okay. We already know that they have geolocated his vehicle in that neighborhood around the home right before the shooting and right after the shooting. But what about the days leading up to it? Yeah. What about the morning after? Did he come back and check? If he did this, did he come back and check his handiwork? Did he come back to see the police activity? Did he drive by to be a spectator? Kohberger did it. Kohberger came back at 9 a.m. I think he was looking for his knife sheath.
Oh yeah. To me, there's always a lot of, I think between Ashley and Nancy, they make a lot of comparisons to that case, which I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like we can really compare Kohberger to this one, but maybe it's just me. Not all people do the same kinds of behaviors. And I think we can get a lot of tunnel vision if we start looking at things that way too.
Not so much looking for police activity, but a lot of times killers do this. They come back and they watch the activity and they kind of like enjoy secretly being behind the scenes, being like, I'm right here and you don't even see me or know it's me. Did he do that? Also, what kind of communications has he been having with Monique Tepe recently?
Well, I do wonder, did he ever talk to Monique after? Like, did they get along? Was there anything that was like, was he following her? Was there any concern of anything at this point? It just makes you wonder, Yeah, what did this look like at the end of the day? Okay. Just a thought. Just a thought. Just some questions. Let me, because I maybe he tried to talk to her. Maybe there was more. Maybe did she ever mention it to family members that he was following her? If it's him, what does this look like?
Is this, could it be, if he's guilty, could it be 5 years of just seething anger boiling over in a moment where he
Years.
might have seen a wedding video online? Or 10 years of anger of losing someone he didn't want to lose? Is that possible? Because again,
I don't think so. Soul Madison, they were already divorced. What assets would they be fighting? The divorce was like, yeah, like almost 11 years. She had remarried 5 years ago. Or, that's what she did. She moved on with her life. So what the divorce was pretty clear. That's what I'm saying. Is like the divorce wasn't anything that would they both filed. They didn't even hire attorneys. They agreed to it. It was kind of like a, let's just do this type of situation. They weren't even living together when they were divorcing. They were already separated. So I don't think that there was an asset situation. I mean, after 11 years of being not together, what assets would you have? Oh, that's what you read somewhere? Yeah. I think that's incorrect. That would be incorrect. It sounded like they divided things up as far as debts and what he would take on, and it was an amicable divorce. There was a buildup. Something happened. I think that he wasn't. If he did this, it sounds to me like he was never really over her, and it had been a buildup for many years. Many years.
they're apart 10 years ago. She's married 5 years ago to some new man. So I want to see what the cops are going to find on all his electronics. And by the way, I'd expect right about now, if not already, his practice, where he works, any hospital he works in, there are warrants going up the ass to go through every single computer that he ever used.
That's what they do when they're looking at all kinds of investigations. That's what they do. They're looking at every little thing to figure out, like, maybe he didn't do how to murder, yada yada yada, or silencer. That's the other thing too. I mean, did anybody hear the noise other than the children? Because I'm like, that's a does make you wonder, was there a silencer? Did anybody else hear? And again, consider the neighborhood and everything. I mean, sometimes if I hear gunshots in the middle of the night, my first thought isn't to go call police. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like, I don't even know where those came from. I'm going back to bed. I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you are, I guess it depends where you live and everything, but if you're hearing gunshots in the middle of the night, is your thought process to immediately go call police and say, I heard gunshots? It isn't mine. I think, I've heard gunshots before, so I'm not thinking anything or anything like that. The other thing too is that maybe maybe the kids were in separate rooms. Silencers are not silent. They usually lower dBs by 20 to 25%. I usually don't. I don't be calling the police. I've heard gunshots before. I don't call the police because I don't know where they're coming from. I'd be like, it's in the middle of the night. So where do I direct police? Go this way. I wouldn't know where to direct them or to tell them what to look for and stuff like that. That is also on YouTube, a series. Okay. He said, never. I hear them every night. Yeah, I don't call police. That's not my first impression. Not in your neighborhood. So if you've never heard them before, would you think to call police about gunshot noise or any noise? You said, yeah, you just block it sometimes. I mean, sometimes you're like, well, maybe it's just a firework, You said, nah, not it. I grew up in East LA. You're like, hey, we don't be calling the police. This shit is everywhere. You said Columbus has the city gunshot tracking system. Really? They have no idea about that. It's normal in South Africa. Interesting. Well, there. You're in England. We never hear gunshots. Oh my God. Yeah, it's like another thing. What I'm gonna that's what I'm saying. It's like if you hear them, you don't really think of, well, I'm gonna call the police. But I do wonder, if there was anybody that heard gunshots or anything like that, because they're loud, right? Keeping that in mind. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of this lawyer commentary here, depending on, because I have to look at my watch and everything because I got Baby Bunny I got to pick up. Shout out to the sitter, by the way. Shout out to the sitter that's watching Baby Bunny.
Dispatch that there was no history of calls from the Tepe's address or related to the Tepes. Now, the chief continues to urge patience in this investigation. She says that the department is being as transparent as they possibly can while they're continuing to maintain the integrity of the investigation. Joining us now is retired detective commander with the Chicago Police Department.
By the way, I mean, their wedding video was accessible on YouTube. So that's why where a lot of these images are coming from. The person that took the wedding video, the one that y'all are watching, he has a channel. And so that's why everybody took that wedding picture. It's all public. That's why it's playing over. I mean, it was a lovely wedding that they had.
Vilar, always great to have you on Law and Crime, and you've been great in helping us understand this story as it's continued to unfold. Before we dive into what the chief had to say in these kind of one-on-one interviews it appears she gave to some of the local media outlets there, what is it like right now in the Detective Bureau in Columbus as the days go on?
You know, they're running out all these leads. They're, based what I saw in that interview with the chief, they've got some leads. They're going in a specific direction on this. But as a detective, all you want to do is work on your case. You don't want all the distractions from the outside, and that's where your layer of supervision comes in. My job as a supervisor was to give my detectives all the tools they needed so they could do their job, and I'll handle all the other stuff. So they're doing their job, and I think the chief did a good thing by going, and the deputy chief did a good thing by going on TV.
Yeah, because I think you look at, there's just been some silence, and you want police spending more time investigating a crime and hopefully solving a crime than needing to answer questions from the media. But there's just been so much speculation, especially in the online space, with what potentially happened. There were two pieces of information, at least two to me, that stood out that she confirmed through some of the local media stations. It was Channel 10 that said that the Tepes were both found upstairs in a bedroom, so second floor, and that the 911 caller, when you listen to that call and the person who calls back and says there is a body here, that is someone who's actually inside the house.
Crazy.
It was unclear before whether maybe they saw through a window or something like that, but they were actually able to go into the home. What does that tell you?
So obviously they know this person. Whoever went into their home knows this person well enough to either know where a key is or know the code to get into the house. So this is a pretty close friend. Now, I was a little confused when I listened to the 911 calls as well, because it sounded like one of the callers said, I hear babies crying, but I can't get in. Now, my question is that the same caller who says they're on the second floor invisible? Because that's kind of contradictory of what happened. If you're in there, you're in there. Are you taking the kids out, removing them from that? I mean, those things are a little up in the air for me. And I wasn't clear on it when I listened to the 911 calls.
Yeah, it was definitely part because I remember the first time I listened to the 911 call, just even, it kind of goes into the part we'll talk about with the initial officer went to the wrong home apparently. But because you could hear the kids in the background of the call, and I wasn't sure if it was like they were on the door and then this 911 caller's on the outside. So there's still some questions as far as kind of just the layout, and we'll get the context eventually on all of this. Knowing that the Tepes were in their bedroom, because before when it was like no forced entry, it was like, did someone come to the house? They had some sort of conversation, and maybe they did, but now we're thinking, according to police, 2 and 5 in the morning in a bedroom upstairs. So potentially sleeping when this happened. The fact that she's upstairs as well, it seems they're both shot in the bedroom, but then there's that no forced entry part of it.
It throws everybody off.
I guess as you're piecing together the steps of what potentially happened, like how do those pieces of information kind of factor into what you're thinking?
I mean, the no forced entry is a huge part of it. The condition of the home is a huge part of it. The location of the bodies are all huge parts of it. And
it wasn't Monique. That's my understanding, is that it wasn't Monique who made that 911 call, DV call, or anything like that. I think that one got clarified and debunked and everything. If I'm understanding correctly how that went down.
It would suggest the person had knowledge of, 1, how to get into the house, 2, what bedroom that the Tepes were in, possibly.
Yep.
So it kind of suggests that maybe this is somebody that knows the layout of the house at least, or certainly the code to get in, or they had some kind of relationship with the Tepes. That's what I think.
And
this person, right? They parked their car They're walking, right? This is in the middle of the night. They're walking and they park their car somewhere so that they are able to access it. And you had a license plate reader that was able to pull the license and identify whose car it was. Crazy.
Have the biggest piece of information that we have at this point is that person of interest video, that person walking down the alleyway. They're not looking at the camera, maybe hiding their face from the
Say
camera.
more.
But police were pretty clear in the interview that the chief gave to the local media that they have tips. Like, they have tips that have come in. Detectives are going through the video right now, trying to figure things out. You know, and then part of me is like, and we don't know if they have more videos of this person of interest, but my question would be like, why not put out more of them if they actually do, if they have as much video as they say that they have? And maybe they don't have, you know, I will say, like, maybe they just don't have any more video of the guy,
Right.
but if they do, why would you withhold that information?
Good question. If they're withholding that information, there's a reason for it. It's not that they're trying to keep the public in the dark, but maybe they're trying to not tip who they're looking at. So again, to have just one piece of information like that, just one piece of someone walking down the alley behind the residence, it seems like there'd be more. There's cameras everywhere.
Absolutely.
There's, in the service that I have with my doorbell, Ring doorbell thing, there's a neighborhood app where if somebody walks down the street sideways, somebody's getting on, making a comment saying, hey, there's somebody walking down the street. You know what I mean? So there's got to be more. There's got to be a reason why they're holding up that information. And she kind of alluded to that. She said, there are things we can't tell you. And that would be because it would compromise the investigation.
The other question that I think I would have, which is always one that comes out in news conferences, and maybe it was a strategic move just to kind of do a one-on-one with a journalist for a period of time, as opposed to opening it up. And then you have just people from all over the place in the media asking and shouting questions. The question of, I think the question is, like, is the community safe? Is always that question that puts, I think, law enforcement in a really tough position when you.
I think that if he only had one target, I don't even think that they're necessarily worried about that. This is the 911 call in April 2025. Okay. So this is the one that people were saying was the DV call, but then it got debunked and said by family. They said that that's not correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're crying. Do you need police, paramedics, or anything?
No, I'm okay. I promise. I'm just emotional. I'm okay. I don't need nothing.
Well, can I ask what had you call 911 in the first place? Like, were you having an argument with
Me and my
somebody?
gang got into it, but I'm okay. I promise.
Did anything ever get physical?
Oh,
No.
You guys were just arguing, nobody hit each other?
Yes.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I have the information
Okay.
here. I can go ahead and tell the officers to cancel hitting over to your address there at 1411
Yes.
94th Street.
Yes.
If
Yes.
anything
I'm
changes,
sorry.
call us back.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
thank you.
sorry.
Pretty distressing stuff, right? Especially the long pause after did it get physical?
again, but they said that wasn't her. So kind of makes you wonder why they even thought that was her. I think it was a cell. Allegedly, a 911 caller was doing an edible and was messed up with her already, so somewhat mental state. The edible messed her up. So again, that was not her. Family has debunked that and whatnot. Okay, so that's what happened. I mean, I just, like I said, I the biggest thing is we want to know how he got in, okay? And the question is always going to be like the why, especially since it looks like people had already moved on and whatnot. I mean, it's what it sounds like. This was the initial video that they had released of the suspect parked himself from distance. If this is Michael McKee, I'll say if, all right, because I don't know, he has he has his right to his defense. But if this is him, man, this person parked from a distance to where his car might have been, and somehow the license plate reader picked it up. He basically put himself in the scene of the situation. That's crazy work, honestly. Like, that's crazy, man.
for work that morning, his boss and his friends couldn't call 911 fast enough. And unlike that mystery caller from back in April, they damn sure wanted the police to come to the house and
Period.
act fast. I'm going to play you those recordings as well, but let's start with the mysterious 911 call from back on April 15th, the one where a distraught woman.
Okay, we've already heard this. We don't need to hear this again. Hold up.
911 dispatchers called that number back, and this was the conversation.
Hi, this is 911. We just got a hang-up call. Is everything okay?
Okay, hold up, y'all. Try to move the
Yeah,
call.
I'm sorry. I'm okay.
I wanted to get to the other calls. I guess I couldn't. Dang it. Here it is. Is this it?
Okay.
No, that's
I'm
not
sorry.
it. I thought they were going to get to the other calls. So I'm going to see if I can find the other calls real quick because I think that they're important. And this was and I heard somebody say in the chat that they were so rude in the dispatch. Somebody said in the chat, they said they were so rude to the dispatcher was so rude to the people calling 911 or whatever. And I'm like, really? What? How so? How so? What happened? So apparently they were like, that's how people felt. And look at this. You have I didn't even know the brother-in-law had spoken out. Spencer Tepe's brother-in-law speaks out to the murders. Of course, hopefully, Court TV doesn't tag us. Hold up.
We'll catch
a daughter and a son, a brother and a sister.
Oh my God.
Doesn't
the fact that even these kids don't have parents anymore. You said, dispatch work is very hard. I'll say that. Dispatch work, I've seen it. Dispatch work is very, very hard, and you're talking about an area where there's always a lot of crime going on. They're having to make sure they're on point all the time. And, you said dispatch was rude, said some people just don't show up for work. Minnie, but like I said, think about the area and location. Dispatch is, I hear what people are saying, but dispatch is a very, very, very hard job to do. Yes, he never remarried. That was misinformation. Wait till you hear. Well, I'm trying to find it and I can't seem to find it. I don't know why. Wait till you hear the call. Okay. But like I said, it's a hard job. That's probably the one job that I probably have a hard time doing. Listening, getting all the details enough for them to respond, making sure that they go to the right address. I mean, it's a very hard job. But let me see if I can pull it.
nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, friends, and obviously two amazing parents, two just innocent children who will never know them again. So it just took so much more.
So when I think about what Rob is doing here, right? Like,
wow. So hold up. I think I found it. Let me see. Two things can be true. Dispatch is hard and those dispatchers were incredibly rude. That is true. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe, she missed her lunch. He or she missed her lunch. I don't know. That can happen too. Horrifying 911 call after. Okay, I think this is it right here. Let's see if we can pull it right where we need to because I don't want to hear all the 911 call. Let's see. Okay, transcript. Take me to the transcript. Oh, is this it? Let's see. See if we can get it right to it.
the calls were going into 911. So one of these friends went by the Tepe's house, and that is when all hell broke loose.
There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just want to check. We just couldn't hear him. He appears dead.
Okay.
There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I think get closer to see more than that.
Okay, so you can tell he's obviously not breathing or anything.
Yeah.
Is it like kind of like does he look like?
It doesn't look puddled. I can't look.
Okay, all right, I understand.
Earlier on my News Nation show,
you said there was 4 call total. There was 4 total. You said this is the medic. Okay, there's 4 total calls that they made. Okay. So we're going to have to follow. Well, that's one of them. We know that. Dispatch. Let's see if we can find the other ones. 911 call. Tepe murders. Maybe that'll come up. Dispatch. 1 second. See if we can find it. I wish all of the calls would have been all in one together place. 911 call made months ago. See, they're all coming back to the neighbor reported banging at the door days before the Tepe murders. Okay. 911 call made. That's not it. Audio release. Here it is. This might be it here.
In the quiet suburbs of Columbus, Ohio, the Tepe...
Okay, let's see. Discovery. Unanswered questions. This.
The emergency dispatch tapes carries a heavy weight of dread. I don't know how else to say this, but we are very, very concerned. This is very out of character for him, he told the dispatcher.
He's reading the script. He's not really going into the 911 call. That sucks. Dispatcher needed a Snickers bar. I don't know who that is. Four different people call 911. His boss calls, then friends, then coworkers, and then route again. Maybe that's why they were like, yeah, I don't. Let me see. That's part 2 of the 3 calls, I believe. All right, I'll find them. I'll definitely find them. Robert, this isn't the one. That's the female dispatcher. She spoke to them several times. It was in the beginning. Okay. He lived hours from where I worked. Gotcha. You said something was filed and then buried. I believe it was in August. The coworker seemed concerned on a whole different level. You know what I do wonder is if there was already signs of Ish going crazy and stuff like that. You said Grizzly? Okay. Grizzly, I like Grizzly True Crime. So I'm definitely going to go check Grizzly True Crime. I know Grizzly won't mind if Grizzly True Crime, she's not known to strike people. I have to be careful, y'all. You guys know how it is. Okay, so shout out to Grizzly True Crime. You guys make sure you check her out. She's very thorough. Surveillance. Parents shot, found dead. Surveillance footage inside the home. Let me go right here. The girl is a professional. Shout out to Grizzly True Crime. Ask me anything. Arrest made in Ohio couple. We know this. Parents found dead. Okay, so it had to have been here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back.
By the way, she's also very gorgeous. Okay. Ooh. Okay.
Redacted the exact address.
Shout out to Grizzly True Crime. Look, she's got it organized. She's got the 911 calls organized. Thank you.
Redacted the exact address. I'm sure by now, if you're following the case, you might know it, but I have to abide by YouTube's community guidelines, and privacy and all that. All of those laws, okay, as a YouTuber. So when you hear beep, I put a little beep there. And sometimes, I've redacted the caller's last names. Like this one says Mark, I redacted his last name and things like that. So I just kept in majority, 90% of the information is in here. It's just those risky things that I may not share online, okay? So first caller is Mark, December 30th of 2025 at 8:58 a.m. The male victim in this case he was a dentist. And so he was always so punctual. And his colleagues were like, it's so weird that he hasn't called, he hasn't concerned. Okay, so let's continue to listen. I just want to tell you why there's a little beep.
Mark.
Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm currently in the state of Florida. I'm on vacation, but this individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
Okay. So
There's
you're
2
in
kids
Florida.
in the home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work, and he runs the office.
The dispatcher is like, okay, so he didn't show up for work. Shame. This turned out to be really bad, you know? So
y'all did not lie. Like, okay, so what's your concern? Yeah. Maybe she needed a Snickers or something, man. Listen, between the address and everything else, you could tell he already feels awkward making the call. Right. Like, shame on you for making a call about your friend that has not gone to work. Right? Kind of like that. Like, shame on you. It gets worse. Oh my God, don't tell me that. Okay. Let's see. Are we still on the first one?
they were right in that this is completely out of character. You got to go check on him. You got to go to his house,
Yeah.
police officers, send someone out because something is very wrong. Ellie Cat, thank you so much. She said, I've waited to learn about this case from you. It's been all over my feed, but you are the best. Thanks for keeping me company at work and making my day so much better with awesome coverage. Thank you so much.
Okay. How old is Spencer?
Spencer is, I don't know, 36, I believe. 37.
What's his last name?
Tepe, T as in Thomas, E, P as in Paul, E, Tepe. Have you guys received anything else, like calls about him or like a car accident or anything like that?
No, sometimes people just don't show up to work. I mean, maybe he's sick, I don't know. But he's 36, his name's Spencer.
Okay. Bitch, I didn't ask for your opinion. Take the information and go ask them to do a wellness check. Sometimes people don't show up to work. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. But this is somebody who's a doctor, has appointments. Like, yeah, I get it. I get it. You are not lying when you say it gets worse. Okay, because that right there would have been enough for me to have gone down through your throat right there. Like, because I'm enough concerned and you already don't want to take the information. No.
Tepe, what's he look like? Is he white, black, Hispanic?
He's white. He's probably 6'2", blondish hair. Probably 185 pounds.
So did you receive information that he may have been involved in an accident or?
No, ma'am. I just know that he is the most, like, he is always on time and he would contact us if there was any issues whatsoever. And I just don't know how else to say this. Like, we're very, very concerned because this is very out of character. And we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concerning thing.
Oh my God.
Okay, we will send somebody over as soon as we have an officer available, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Girl, yes, please. Okay. Somebody needs to do a performance review on this lady right here.
Ma'am, I'm sure she gets a lot of calls, but yeah. If they can't get hold of him.
And by the way, shout out to the dispatchers out there. It is a very hard job. I'm telling you, I remember when I worked in government, I worked with a lot of dispatchers too, but I hired a dispatcher on my team, and it's a hard job. It's a hard job to do. Okay. But that right there, that's a no-no. Okay.
Spencer or his wife, there's a lot of red flags going off, like something is very, very wrong, right? Now, I do want to thank Grizzly Cat for obtaining these raw copies of the 911 calls for us. My goodness, that was a nice surprise today. So let's continue now because there's 4 calls, okay? So I'm glad we have the raw 911 calls because on the news, sometimes it's like in little snippets here, and then I'm like, I want to hear them all from beginning to end. Like we want to hear the whole context, of course, with redactions for privacy, right? So here we go.
Bye-bye.
Okay, here we go. Second
911, what's location of your emergency?
Columbus.
Okay, what's the emergency there? Police or medical?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of doing the
We
wellness.
already had a call out there. They knocked on the front door and back door multiple times, and there was no answer.
Yeah, no answer. I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to break the door in or just get in the house or what. So.
Okay, were you out there when the police was out there?
I wasn't. I just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll send them back out to you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Okay, so I hope you're following along. You can see I've labeled everything. This is now the 3rd call, a cam. So it said December 30th, 2025. This one is at 9:58 a.m.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
North 4th Street, Columbus, Ohio.
What's the location?
North 4th Street.
Okay, what's the emergency there?
Our boss did not report to work. We haven't been able to get a hold of him for 3 hours. We are on site and we can hear
Okay,
kids
I
inside.
just talked to somebody there.
Okay, I'm just making sure somebody called.
Yeah, I just got.
What? What was that? No. What was that? What was that? Let me keep playing this, okay? Because I'm about to lose my.
I got a call from somebody and set it back up for dispatch.
Okay.
Are you there? Because you're not showing that you're at the
No, I'm
location.
en route there.
Okay, what is your name?
My name is Cam, C-A-M.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye. 911, what's the location of your emergency?
And this is the fourth call.
I don't know, like ignorance and unprofessional. These people are concerned. Y'all, we pay that salary. What are you doing? We pay that salary. I get it. People have a hard time. You know what I mean? Like, I used to deal with it all the time. I get it. But our taxes pay that salary. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is just too much. Morris says, I had an employee that did a no call, no show. I went to her house after work and she passed away. I'm so sorry, Morris. I'm so sorry that happened. And I'm so sorry for your loss as well. I mean, like I said, if it's not outside of, if it's outside of their character, they're not showing up. Yeah, like definitely follow up. DJ Wicked, NC Epstein testimony was done. I have the link. Where do I send it? Well, I did put my email my email's in the description box and it's in the chat if you want to email me. Thank you so much for your membership for 1 month. Thank you. I'll have to check it out. That wasn't okay. It is beyond unprofessional. Like, they have to review this shit. They have to. I get that they deal with the lot, and I'm telling you, you do have dispatchers that deal with a lot, and it's a very hard job. And I get it. You don't want other people calling in and bombarding and stuff like that, but people are calling because they're concerned.
Alex, so no, it's not all the same caller. It's all different callers. Everybody's extremely worried now. They're panicking like, why can't we get hold of Spencer? Why can't we get hold of Monique? Something's happening. There's people now at the house.
Right.
Very worried colleagues, friends, right? And they're trying to find out what's going on. They're knocking front and back. They don't know what's happening. So this is the fourth caller, right? Here we go.
Oh.
Okay, wait.
See, we've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Oh my.
Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
Oh my God. Oh, I can't hear that. Oh my God. Our kids. Oh. That's just like, oh my God, man. Poor kids, man. Those poor kids.
Oh my God. Hey, wait, I'm downstairs.
All fire and EMS operators are currently handling other calls. Please stand by for the
Stay
next
on the line. We
available
got
operator.
patrol on the way, and then I'm transferring you over to the medics.
Oh my God, man.
Columbus Division of Fire, what is the address of your emergency? All right, I mean, that's what's going on there.
There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here, and he appears dead.
Okay.
There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that.
Okay, so you can tell he's obviously not breathing or anything.
Yeah.
Is it like kind of like puddle, like, you know, does he look like?
It doesn't look puddled. I can't look.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right, I understand. Okay, and then when was the last time somebody spoke to him?
Like yesterday, I suppose.
Yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
How old is he?
37.
37. Okay. Is he like a drug user or anything like that?
No. Okay.
All right. Just that's a really young age.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. All right, we're on our way.
Okay, sir, can you stay on the line for a minute and can you give me your name? Okay, and he is a friend of yours or you work with him?
Yeah. He's a friend. Yeah.
Okay, we do have officers responding there. Do you know if he's been ill or anything like that?
No, I was just with him yesterday.
Okay. Do you know if he does drugs or anything?
No.
You just asked that.
Okay. All right. We'll just talk to the officers when they get there. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so they also released some surveillance footage, which we'll look at after we go over the timeline. I think now it's important for us to understand what on earth was going on here. I know.
Shout out to Grizzly True Crime, you guys. Make sure you guys check her out. She's like the queen of true crime on YouTube. Shout out to her. She works really hard on her research. I mean, that's definitely someone to aspire to be like in true crime. I'm sorry, I was not ready for that last 911 call with her, like the children in the background. I'm so upset because it's like you just hear those babies crying, you just want to comfort them, and then like to find your friends. You said what's frightening is this is cyber stalking, and she had no clue how often it's an invisible crime. I'll have to look into this a little bit more. Oh my God. Sorry, that just really messed with me. Just really messed with me right there. Shout out to everybody. Y'all are amazing. I'm going to have to go pick up Baby Bunny because the sitter just called me. So I'll follow up. I mean, I'm invested. I think that, you know, for those that don't know, I believe we have Rebecca Harrow's hearing coming up next week. Or this coming week. So we're going to be on that as well. But I want to dig a little bit more. I have a lot of questions about, a little bit more about Michael's history for sure. I really do appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you for those that supported today. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to let you guys go. Sorry, that last call really messed me up. I was not right. Like when I heard those babies crying, I have this thing where if I hear babies cry like that, I just want to drop everything and like go comfort them. I don't know what it is. They're not even my kids. You know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of you guys probably feel the same way because you never want to hear a cry like that ever. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button. Consider subscribing. Shout out to you guys. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. Thank you. Bye.